Hello! Welcome to my channel. My name is Carla and I love sharing with you my tips and tricks for organization, productivity, and all of it in a creative way, following the bullet journal method. Today I share with you how I prepared my bullet journal for school. Since I am a teacher, my bullet journal will be mainly focused on how to use a bullet journal for teaching. But if you're a student, I'm sure that there's a lot of things you could be applying as well for your notebook. My birthday was some weeks back, and one of my dear friends gave me this bag full of lots of materials because he knows I love using them in my notebooks. So I challenged myself only to use said gifts to prepare my bullet journal for this school year. You will see there's markers, pens, stickers, sticky notes, scissors, and washi tape. Thank you so much for this lovely gift. I'm gonna try as much as I can to just stick to these materials and a few other things that I use for all of my bullet journals. And I'll do it all in this notebook that I created for you and you can purchase in my Society 6 store. I'll leave the links below. Even if my notebook has a beautiful cover that I love, I also do a cover for the notebook, in which of course I write the school year that I'm gonna be using this bullet journal notebook, and I use lots of things that represent myself and what I want to do this year. That's why you'll see me use this beautiful quote, "There's power in being kind." You know how I always sponsor and do my best to foster kindness in the world. Unlike with my personal bullet journal that I plan from January to December, my school bullet journal, I use it from August till June, which is why I just need to separate notebooks. My school bullet journal is a little bit more concentrated on events, activities, tasks, and projects that I do in school and for school. And even if I use some of this and add them to my personal bullet journal, I have found that it is best for me to have them separately. But you should do whatever works for you best. These are just my suggestions and recommendations for how to apply the bullet journal in both my personal and professional life, since I've been using the bullet journal method for the past 5 years. Something else that you might consider for your bullet journal for school's cover is having it themed by subjects. If you're a math teacher or this is your math notebook, you might do something related to math. The same for your English notebook, your French notebook, and so on. Again, it all depends on you and your needs. Some very important layouts in our bullet journal are the key and the index. In the key, you'll be able to write down the bullets or signals you'll be using throughout your notebook. Think of the ones you need to be using the most, and those are the ones you can assign to your key. And remember, if something else comes to mind later on, you can always add them up. Then in the index, you just do a simple table in which you're going to be writing the title of the page you want to identify and the page number. Of course, it's always better when your notebooks are numbered, so you don't have to be numbering page by page. And the index is something you can of course use, or if it's not something that's important to you and you rather use another type of signal to identify your themes, units, activities, you can always use washi tape, sticky notes, and tabs. By the way, I just want to mention that I've been using this notebook and enjoying it a lot. I've been using markers and stickers and paper, and I have not been bothered by any of it. Sometimes the markers, they just go through the paper, and that hasn't happened. And also when you use stickers, especially those that are a little bit bulkier, it's just a nightmare to write on the paper that's on the other side. And so far, that hasn't bothered me at all. They have a really good quality, these notebooks that Society 6 prints for us. So you can just go ahead and look at their website and select one notebook that has a cover that you love. Why not give you something special for this new school year? Keep in mind that I always leave in the description box the links of the products that I use in my videos. After we got the basics out of the way, you should select the best layouts to start your collection. This is a new addition to my collection, the layout for contacts and passwords. This is something new for me that I'll be trying out, and I of course can let you know how it goes. Some of us not only have an analog system like the bullet journal to store all those things, but also use digital resources, such as the apps that we have in our phone. A collection that I always use and highly recommend is that of a yearly plan and my calendar, or my year at a glance. It's always a good idea to have a place in which you can take a look and see all the year planned out, which is why I do my yearly plan layout. And of course, my other very valuable resource is a year at a glance. In my case, I plan them by trimesters because that's how we work at school. It's 3 months, but they don't really start at the beginning of the month and they don't end exactly at the end of 1 month, which is why you'll see like 4 months in one layout. It's basically a quarter, it just doesn't look like that because again, it starts in odd places. But that's a general idea. And then I'll be adding up important dates that I can identify easily by color coding them. So out of the 10 months of the school year, I create 3 layouts in which I have each quarter identified in my trimesters. How does your school work though? I know we all do it differently. Here you can see how it looks completed, and you might be able to notice the difference in colors that are my codes to identify dates. I know this tip is gonna just make your life so much easier. You should try it out if you haven't. This is another collection that I absolutely recommend that any teacher and student should have, which is the schedule and class layouts. I not only recommend that you know your schedule and what class comes after the next, but also have details of the classes. If you're a teacher, what's the class, what's the group's name, how many students you have, what room is it, and if there's any more details, you can of course add them up. This is something really basic, but I think it's really useful. If you're a student, I would recommend that you have the name of the subject, the name of the teacher, the contact information, the classroom, the class code, and any other important basic information from the class. It's something very basic, but along with the grading criteria, it's something you should always have. You can see some ideas for that in my students' version of the bullet journal. I left the link on the top of the screen and in the description box. The next layouts and part of my collections in my bullet journal for school, it's the one that's my absolute favorite. I just love how it came out, but I also love its importance. It's my goals and the actions I will be taking this year to make it the very best. This 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 exercise, it's so useful. Just think, what are you gonna do in the next 5 years, 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days, and 1 hour? Because that's how you start reaching your goals. These next layouts and additions to your collection are some trackers that I highly recommend. Even if you have them digital, you should have something to plan your projects and track your activities. If you're a teacher, you probably have this in some sort of tech platform. If you're a student, you might have it digital too. Again, however it is that's best for you, I just recommend that you have some sort of tracker to see about your projects and your activities. That's gonna help measure out your advancements and of course, track your success. After the collections comes the monthly plans. And for this, I pretty much just do a very basic form of the planning I do in my personal bullet journal. You will find many options and themes in my Plan With Me playlist, where I'm sure you're gonna find something that interests and inspires you, which is what I aim for. The first step in planning a new month is always creating a cover that represents that month. When in my personal journal, I choose different themes that inspire me to just do my best. In my school's bullet journal, I'm a bit more practical. And I just color pages, stickers, and things that I have handy, because not every single month I'm gonna dedicate 3 hours to do this plan. Believe me, I don't do it that much every single month in my school's notebook. But right now I'm doing this so you can see it, and also I'm giving myself a little bit more time to do so. And I hope you're liking it. And if you do, just remember to give me a big thumbs up. To identify the different months in my bullet journal for school, I'll be using these labels or tabs that will stick out and just guide me through the whole notebook. I simply love them so much. After the cover comes the monthly calendar and of course this month's activities. Most times I just simply print the school's calendar and just glue it there. Make it look a little bit pretty with some stickers and whatnot, but I didn't have the August version of my school's calendar in print, so I just did it myself. Again, nothing spectacular, something simple to guide us through the month. Of course, I look at my year at a glance plan to identify specific dates and add whatever is happening that month that's a bit more specific to me and less general. And on the right hand side, I made a rapid logging of everything that I want to do and accomplish that month. I must say that because I'm just using things that I have handy and trying to get inspired by them, this plan is coming out really colorful and fun and just, it's giving me a lot of come back to school vibes. I hope you're liking it. Lastly comes the weekly plan. And for school, I just choose a very simple and quite basic layout. Most times, I don't even plan the whole week, but what I do is just add the days as they come. That might give me the space that I need for any particular day. What I do have always on the right is my list of pendings, which I move from one page to the next in case I haven't completed them all. And that's basically it. That's how I organize everything that I need to be very successful throughout the school year. Now that we finished planning, let me tell you how it all works. You already know about the cover. You can see in the key the bullets that I'll be using and of course the index that I'll be filling up. I have my new collections for contacts and passwords that I'm gonna be trying out. And for passwords, I divided into work passwords and personal passwords. My yearly plan, later on I'm gonna print a whole year calendar and my year at a glance, where you can see the color code I used to identify the different dates throughout the school year. Write down my year at a glance. I need to go back to the general school calendar, look at the dates and then write them down in the correct month. For my class schedule, I have properly identified all my classes. They are of course color-coded and they have all the information that I need to know from them. You can of course add more classes as needed. Then I have my yearly goals. I'll be completing these times with the goal I have for each moment, and then I'll make an action plan that I'll follow this year. Next come ideas to track your projects and activities. Make sure to use your bullets and signals to track down your activities. You can always add more columns if needed. The monthly cover is filled with things that are gonna get me inspired, and I'm loving the tabs I'm using this year to identify each month. Then I made my monthly calendar and write down a rapid log of all the activities I need to accomplish throughout the month. And of course, I assign them to specific days throughout the month, so that I make sure I'm advancing. If something's not finished, I write them on my sticky for the pendings, which I can move from one week to another with no issues. Something else that's new that I want to keep a record of is the monthly recap. And then I start over with a new month. And I'll do it all again, but I always keep in mind what I planned originally at the beginning of the month. Check each and every month for any pendings so that I am always aware of what I need to finish before a new month begins. What do you think? I hope you love it. Thanks for visiting me today, and I'll see you again next week. Keep creative, keep safe, and always, always be kind. Bye.